الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم افتح بخير واختم بخير واجعل عاقبة أمرنا رشدا. We start off by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending our peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we start off by saying, Alhamdulillah alladhi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guiding us to this, and if it was not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we would not have been guided to this. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing of Islam and what it comes with. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing of Ramadan and what it comes with. Inshallah, today we are going to cover the most blessed month of the Islamic calendar, known as Ramadan. Ramadan comes once a year in the Islamic calendar, and it comes after the month of Sha'ban, and it comes before the month of Shawwal. So we see that Ramadan itself is so blessed that it affects the months that are connected to it. The blessings of Ramadan are so strong that they affect the months that are attached to it as well. We see that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to fast a lot in the month of Sha'ban because he was preparing himself for Ramadan. We see the same way the person that wants to run a marathon prepares himself for 6 months before he runs the marathon. It is also sunnah to fast in the month of Sha'ban because you're preparing yourself for the obligatory fast of Ramadan. And then we see that the month of Shawwal also has recommended fasts, all due to the blessings of Ramadan. So now we say, what is Ramadan and what is fasting in Ramadan? Ramadan is the most virtuous month of the Islamic calendar due to a couple of reasons. From the reasons of the virtues of Ramadan is that it is the month of fasting. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu he referred to it as Shahr al-Sabri, the month of patience. Fasting also teaches patience. Fasting in its essence is patience. You're abstaining when you fast. This is all patience. It's patience. It teaches you patience a lot. And we see that. Also there's a fast in it, and also the Quran was revealed in it, and that's the main thing. We say that the Quran was revealed in totality in the month of Ramadan, from the kingdom of Allah Ta'ala's majesty to the Lawh al-Mahfuz. The Lawh al-Mahfuz is the written tablet that Allah wrote before He created the heavens and the earth. The first thing Allah created was the pen, and He told the pen to write. And He wrote everything until the Day of Judgment, and from those things is the Quran. He put it all in one go in the month of Ramadan. And then the revelation also began in the month of Ramadan. The revelation of the Quran, which lasted 23 years of the Prophet's prophethood, it was also in the month of Ramadan. It was also in the month of Ramadan, the beginning of it, the commencement, right, of the revelation of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in the month of Ramadan. The Prophet Muhammad was meditating on the outskirts of Mecca in a cave called the Cave of Hira, on a mountain called the Mountain of Nur. Now if you go to Umrah, you go to Jabal al-Nur, the Mountain of Light, and it's called the Mountain of Light because revelation began there. And the Prophet Muhammad used to meditate there. He used to go and think about society and how much it digressed, and he used to be hurt. And revelation began there. The first thing that was sent down was اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Read in the name of your Lord. Read in the name of your Lord was the first thing that was sent down to the Prophet Muhammad. And when was it sent down? We say it was in Ramadan. Revelation began in Ramadan. So this is why Ramadan is blessed. Ramadan is blessed because the obligatory fast is found in it, and the act of fasting is a blessed act, and also because revelation began in it and the entire Quran was revealed in it. An interesting side note is that all the revelations that were sent down by God were sent down in Ramadan, according to a hadith. According to another hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said that the Torah was sent down in Ramadan, and so were the Gospels, and so was the Psalms of David, and also the Suhuf of Ibrahim. So Ramadan is a blessed month due to revelation being sent down in it, and we say that revelation is a powerful thing. It gives life to a dead earth the same way rain gives life to a dead earth. Revelation gives life to a dead heart the same way that rain gives life to a dead earth. Now with that being said, to keep this simple as possible. We want to make it simple and as simple as possible. Ramadan is obligatory. When we say Ramadan is obligatory, we mean the fasting of Ramadan is obligatory. The fasting of Ramadan is obligatory. So now we have certain things in the religion of Islam that are obligations. And we have certain things in the religion of Islam that are recommended acts. And we have certain things in the religion of Islam that are prohibited. And we have certain things in the religion of Islam that is disliked to do. From the obligations of Islam is the fasting of the month of Ramadan. AKA, it's a big deal. It's not something to be taken lightly. A Muslim is someone who submits. A Muslim is someone who submits. Allah, He says, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَن يَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Allah, He says in Surah Al-Saffat, when He speaks about Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam, our Prophet Abraham was commanded to sacrifice his son in a dream. The Muslim narration says it was the son Ismail. So he goes to his son and he tells his son, "Oh my son, I had a dream that I sacrificed you. What do you say? What do you think?" He said, "Oh my father, you do as you were commanded. You will find me indeed from those who are patient." He said, "Oh my father, you do as you were commanded. You will find me of those who are patient." Then the next ayah, Allah says, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. And when they have both submitted, the word here is أَسْلَمَا, the same word that the Muslim comes from. So Muslim comes from the word Aslam. Right? Aslama yuslimu, Islam. Islam is to submit. The word Islam, linguistically, in Arabic, is to submit. Now when we say Islam, it refers to a religion. Islam, linguistically, in the Arabic language, if you were to speak to an Arab before Islam came, in the middle of the desert, he would understand that it means to submit. And Allah, He says in the Quran, when they both submitted, speaking about Ibrahim and his son, when they both submitted to the will of God in order to sacrifice him, and Ibrahim went to the place to butcher his son's head off, to cut his son's head off, then what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the angels called out to Sayyidina Ibrahim that you have indeed believed in the dream. You have indeed believed in the dream. قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And then he changed the Ismail with a goat or a sheep, and then he sacrificed the sheep in his place. But the point here is that they both submitted their will, so Allah referred to them, they submitted their will. So a Muslim, when he hears something is an obligation, he partakes in the obligation. That's what a Muslim does. Allah, when He commands a Muslim to do something, He upholds that commandment. So Allah commanded the Muslim with certain things, certain obligations. Of the obligations in Islam is to pray 5 times a day. It's a big deal. Of the obligations of Islam is to fast the month of Ramadan. It's a big deal. Of the obligations of Islam is to give zakah, if you're able to, or if you have enough money. It's a big deal. Of the obligations of Islam is to make the Hajj once in a lifetime, to make Hajj, if you're able to. It's a big deal. Why do I say this? Because this went a little too long. Why do I say this? It's because for new Muslims or someone that's newly practicing, he has to understand the severity of the fasting of Ramadan. It's a big deal. You don't just pick to do it or not. Because you may speak to another Muslim outside and says, "Oh, it's up to you, it's all in your heart. It's all in your heart." We tell that person, "May God bless you. Yeah, thank you so much for the nice advice. But I learned from the Quran." It's a big deal. Allah, He says in the Quran, "Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun." He says, "Oh, you have believed." It's a big deal. Allah, He says in the Quran, "Oh, you have believed. Fasting has been prescribed unto you as it has been prescribed unto those before you, so that you may achieve taqwa." So perhaps you may achieve this concept of taqwa. This concept of being cognizant of Allah. Taqwa means to be cognizant of Allah. The scholars, they give many different definitions of taqwa. But a definition for us to understand, to make it easy, is that you're walking on a thorny trail. You are walking on a thorny trail. So what do you do to walk on a thorny trail? You watch your steps, right? In order to avoid the thorns. You watch every step and you pull your dress up so you don't get hurt by the thorn. That's what taqwa is, to be cognizant of Allah always. To be cognizant of Allah, to be aware of Allah, to always have Allah in your mind, the same way you have the thorns on your mind. So the Muslim when he fasts, he receives this concept of taqwa magnified times 100 million, 1,000 billion. Because you're constantly reminding yourself that God is watching me because I'm fasting, I can't have water because I'm fasting, I can't drink coffee because I'm fasting. So the next thing is, now that we talked about fasting, so what is fasting? What is fasting? Now, we have been prescribed to fast, so what is fasting? Fasting Islamically is to abstain. So fasting is abstinence. Fasting is abstinence. Islamically, linguistically, it's just to abstain. So I say I'm fasting from talking. I'll tell Sister Winter, she'll speak to me. I'll say, Ana Sa'im, I can't talk. Linguistically speaking, I'll say I'm fasting from speech. It means to abstain from anything. It's abstinence. But Islamically, now what does fasting mean? Fasting is to abstain from eating, drinking, and sexual relations from sunrise to sunset. We say what is sunrise and what is sunset. We say sunrise is Islamic sunrise and sunset is Islamic sunset. Islamic sunrise is Fajr, the timing of Fajr. The timing of Fajr. Thank God we have apps now. So we look at the app and we see Fajr timing, that's when I have to start abstaining. And we see Maghrib time, which is sunset, Maghrib time, that's when I can begin to eat. So fasting is to abstain from eating, drinking, and sexual intercourse, or anything sexual, from sunrise to sunset. Fajr is true dawn, but we have apps now that make life easy. So one person has to have an intention to fast. So the night before, he naturally has an intention to fast. This is natural. I don't want to talk about the intention because it's confusing, but it's a natural instinct that you have. Because right now Ramadan is coming, and I'm asking Sister Winter if tomorrow is Ramadan, and she goes, "I'm not sure you're the Imam. Why don't you know the day of Ramadan?" I'm just joking, but just to be cognizant that we're thinking of Ramadan. This is an intention. This is what an intention is, and every night you're going to do that. So that's what fasting is. Fasting, Islamically, is just abstinence. You're not doing anything. You're doing the opposite. You're not eating and you're not drinking and you're not doing anything. Yeah? So it's abstinence. And it could be difficult, but God, He grants facilitation to His servants. And this is good, you know. God, He facilitates it and makes difficulty ease for the person that really wants to do something, you know. But we're going to get to details of people that are not able to fast. So now, who has to fast? We talked about what fasting is. Now, who has to fast? We say that every able-bodied Muslim that is mature has to fast. So there's like 3 conditions basically to fast. You have to be a Muslim, so the non-Muslims don't have to fast. The second one is you have to be of mature age. And maturity is known by its signs. For the woman, it's the menstrual cycle or being pregnant. For the man, it's wet dream. After puberty, basically, so Muslim, mature and sane and physically capable. Muslim, mature, sane, physically capable. Muslim, mature, sane, physically capable. So a lot of us check off on all 4. If you're insane, you don't have to fast. If you're not Muslim, you don't have to fast. If you're not mature, you don't have to fast. So fasting is an obligation and it encompasses a lot of people. The next thing we want to talk about is who is excused from the fast. So now that we know who has to fast, who is excused. We say that being excused from the fast of Ramadan is not that easy. But there is exceptions. There's exceptions from 2 ways. Exceptions for a limited timing and exceptions for forever. Exceptions for a limited timing and exceptions forever. So we'll talk about the forever one, which means that if someone is not physically capable of fasting, he is sick, he has diabetes or certain type of diabetes, or he's so old and he just cannot fast, he's not able to fast, he has to take medication, he has a certain medication he has to take it. This person is something called excused forever from fasting, meaning that he does not fast. He does not fast, and he does something called pay. He pays a certain amount of money to feed someone daily. It's called a fidya. Islamically, it's called a fidya. And the fidya, according to the Islamic Council of North America, is $10 a day. And let's say that there's 30 days in Ramadan, $300 a month. And you are excused for those 30 days. However, some people are not exempt completely, but they are sick. So they're able to fast a day and then it's difficult the next day. We say to this person, you exert the best of your ability to fast. If you're able to fast, God bless you. If you try to fast and you're not able, you have to take medication, and your doctor said you have to take the medicine, you break the fast. If you're able to make up this later on in the year, where the day is much shorter, you do that. But if you're completely incapable of fasting and you will not be able to become capable of fasting, then you're exempt. What I'm saying is this idea of paying the fidya is not for anybody. It's an extreme scenario. It's a very old individual, he cannot fast and he won't be able to fast. Or someone with a chronic illness and they will not be, they will not cure from that illness. But if someone is just sick a day or 2 or has difficulty fasting but is able to fast on a shorter day, he tries his best to fast what he's able to and he makes up the rest later in the year in a shorter day. So the next category of being excused is the person who is a traveler, and this is a limited excuse, we say, because he has to make this up. The first category does not make anything up. They're chronically excused. They don't make anything up. The next category is who? Someone that is traveling, or a woman in her menstrual cycle, or a woman on her postnatal bleeding after she gives birth cycle of blood, right? To keep it simple, I'm not going to go into detail. To keep it simple, if you're traveling, you don't have to fast, you could fast. So the next question is it better for that person to fast or not to fast? We say with fasting specifically, it's better to fast if you're able to. Because Ramadan is the obligation once a year. The timing of Ramadan is a saint timing. It's a saint, beautiful, holy month. So if you're able to fast, in your travel you fast. But there is absolutely no obligation for you to fast. You don't have to fast. It's a concession, okay? So now, if you're traveling, you are excused from fasting. Let's say you traveled for a week, which is 7 days. You have to make up those 7 days. You have to make them up. Next category is the person who is the woman who is in her menstrual cycle. She's not allowed to fast. You say, I could though, I could. You know, it's not about you could. You're not allowed to fast. It's haram for you to fast. So the woman on her menstrual cycle, she doesn't fast. And she makes up those days as well. And the woman also after giving birth, if she's in her lakiyas period, which is that period where she bleeds after giving birth, she does not fast, she makes it up as well. For the pregnant woman, if she's not able to fast due to harm occurring to her baby, she does not have to fast, but she has to make it up. She's not excused, she has to make it up. And these are famous cases of women not fasting the entire month because they're pregnant or they're nursing, but they have to make that up. So that's who is excused. The next thing is what breaks a fast. What breaks a fast? So we talked about who fasting is obligatory upon, and we talked about what fasting is, and we talked about who is excused from the fast, and we talked about how much you pay if you're chronically excused. Now, what breaks a fast? To keep it simple, we're going to keep things simple. It's anything entering the body cavity, right? Or sexual intercourse. So it's anything that's nourishing that enters the body. So water, food, right? It will break the fast. And now when we're talking about breaking fast, let's give one example to make it simple and easy. So right now I'm fasting and I go and I drink water, I broke my fast. So now when it comes to breaking the fast, we categorize breaking the fast into 3 categories now, okay? It's actually 2, but the third one is like a subcategory. So it's breaking the fast purposely and breaking the fast by accident. And there's breaking the fast out of forgetfulness. So we're going to differentiate between accidental break and forgetful break. So first and foremost, the first person that breaks the fast is the one that does it on purpose. What does that mean? It means it's Ramadan and I don't give a damn because I'm against it and I just want to go eat. May Allah forgive us, may Allah grant us understanding, honestly. So someone does not understand the concept of fasting and he doesn't take it, he takes it as a joke or he takes it lightly. This person, he breaks the fast purposely. I'm not talking about a person that's exhausted and he needs water, he's going to pass out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying someone, he just breaks his fast. He drinks water or he drinks a Red Bull or he smokes a cigarette. Smoking cigarettes breaks your fast as well. Or he eats a sandwich from all. This all breaks fast. This first category, the purposely breaking of the fast, the first category, the purposely breaking fast, it equates to something. What does it equate to? It equates to you having to make up that day that you broke. You have to make that day up, of course. But you get something else, you get another cherry. You get a present for breaking your fast purposely. You get a present. We say, what is the present you get for breaking your fast purposely? We say this is something called a kafara. A kafara is a punishment in this world, so that you may not taste the punishment of the hereafter. Sometimes we get punishments in this world Islamically, so we are revealed or relieved of the punishment of the hereafter, which is going to be much worse. So we're thankful for these worldly punishments. So a worldly punishment instituted for the person who does the criminal act of breaking a fast is called a kafara. It's a criminal act against Allah's majesty, because He commanded you to fast. So we say, what is a kafara? We say a kafara is to free a slave. We say there's no more slavery in Islam. There's no more slaves. What do I do then? You say you fast 2 months consecutively, 60 days. If you miss one single day, you start over. We say, I'm not able to do that. I'm incapable of doing that physically. If you're incapable of doing that physically, you move on to the third category, which is you feed 60 poor people. You feed 60 poor people. So kafara is 2 types. First is freeing of a slave. We don't have that anymore. Second is fasting 2 consecutive months. So right now, someone breaks his fast purposely because he has sex with his girlfriend or his wife, whatever, may Allah protect us, during the day of Ramadan, right? We're talking about the day, from sunrise to sunset, right? This person now has to do something called a kafara. He has to fast 2 consecutive months. Of course, after Ramadan is over, he's going to make up this day that he broke, then he's going to fast 60 days consecutively. If he messes up, or if Eid comes between it, he starts over. You have to do 60 consecutive days. Alright? And if he's physically incapable of doing so, he has to pay and feed 60 poor people. Then, the next category is the person who does not break his fast purposely. It was not on purpose, brother, it was by accident. We say, how could you break your fast by accident? We give a couple of examples. The first example, and the most famous example of someone breaking their fast by accident, is the person not being cognizant of the timing. He's not aware that Fajr has entered, and he truly believes that Fajr did not enter. He looked at his time, and he said it was 5:30, and Fajr comes in at 5:43, so he went and he drank a bottle of Gatorade, and he ate 3 days, and he sat down, and he's like, oh, it was 5:50, not 5:30. So what did he do? He honestly made a mistake. He accidentally broke his fast. What does this person do? We say he goes and he eats. No. This person that broke his fast by accident, it's mandatory, it's obligatory upon him to continue fasting that day, even though it's not going to count, of course. He broke his fast. The fast does not count. But we said that Ramadan has a sanctity to it. It's a holy month. It's sacred. So you don't continuously break the sanctity of it. So he continues that day fasting like a normal Muslim. And he breaks his iftar with the normal Muslims. Does that day count for him? It does not count for him. Does he have to make up a punishment, a kafara? We say no. He's excused from that because he accidentally break it. He did not mean to break it. It was an accident. It was a sincere accident. Another example is the person at Maghrib time, he believes Maghrib has entered, but Maghrib has not entered. He breaks his fast and then he realizes that the adhan is in 2 minutes. Same exact thing. He has to make up that day without a punishment. One more example is the person, he's swimming in the ocean or in the pool, and his mouth open and water came in, he drank water. By accident, it was not on purpose. This person accidentally broke his fast, he has to make up that day and he continues to fast that day. That's the accidental break. So now there's a purpose break, it's make up a day plus punishment. The second one is accidental break, is make up that day, no punishment. The third one is the one who eats out of forgetfulness. So this is why it's not exactly a category of breaking the fast, because it does not count as a broken fast. Why is that? We say because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that whomsoever eats or drinks out of forgetfulness, let him continue his fast. For indeed Allah has fed him or drank him, gave him something to drink. We say, how does someone eat or drink out of forgetfulness? We say it's really difficult, but if you honestly truly forgot that you were fasting, and you went because of a normal routine of you drinking water every morning when you wake up, you go to the fridge, you drink water, you say, oh, it's Ramadan, I can't drink. I'm fasting. You continue to drink, you stop right there, you spit out the water that's in your mouth, but whatever you drink is fine. You don't continue eating. Whatever is going on here, you spit it out immediately. And you say, oh, stuff a lot. But you remember that you're fasting, but this is forgiven, 100%. There's no question about this. This is forgiven. Do you make up this day? You don't make up this day. You don't make up this day. You're still fasting. If it was done out of forgetfulness. The next thing I want to speak about now, before I talk about recommended acts, is just for us to understand something very, very clear. And that's that the timing of the fast. This is very important. And you're going to hear a lot of conflicting things, but I want you to hear it today, and that's it. And that's that fasting begins at Fajr time, and it ends at Maghrib time. This is the duration of the fast. This is the Islamic day. Fajr enters on your app when it says the time of Fajr enters, but it's true dawn. If we were out in the desert, we would see it in the horizon like this. It splits in the horizon like that. And Maghrib is the sunset. So now someone wakes up and they woke up late. They cannot eat if they miss Fajr. You know, you're going to miss this pre-dawn meal, you don't eat, you have to fast. It's going to be difficult, but you fast. You have to be cognizant of this. Another misconception is that people say when the adhan is being made for Fajr, they say, oh, keep eating and drinking, it's okay, the adhan is still on. What the heck? No, the second the timing comes in, even if no one is making adhan here, the time is what matters. The guy making adhan, the time is what matters. The second Fajr comes in, you can't eat and drink. So we say that during the pre-dawn meal, which is called suhoor, it's a recommended act. This is what we're going to talk about next. This is the last thing we have to talk about, was the recommended acts of the fast. The recommended acts of the fast is to have a pre-dawn meal. It's called a suhoor, and the days call it sihri, and to hasten the break of the fast. So when you break fast, to make sure you hasten the break. So the second the sun sets, you should break your fast immediately. You shouldn't prolong it for no reason, unless you're driving or something and you don't have something to break your fast. That's different. But it's a recommended to break your fast immediately. So if you're in the mosque in Ramadan and the Maghrib comes in, you break your fast immediately on the spot, and then you pray Maghrib, and then you go and you eat something big. But I wanted to clarify that you have to stop eating before this entrance of the Fajr timing. So if Fajr comes in at 5:43 a.m., if the timing of Fajr is at 5:43 a.m., you have to be very sure that you're not eating and drinking at that timing. You should give yourself a buffer zone. We say a buffer timing of 5 minutes. So keep eating and drinking up until 5 minutes before. We say, does the person that eats suhoor, does it have to be right before? Does it have to be his pre-dawn meal? Does it have to be right before? Because it's recommended to delay it until right before. No, it doesn't have to be right before. You can eat at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., there's no problem. But you should have something right before Fajr. Like when you wake up for Fajr, you should have something before it. Water or dates, anything you put in your mouth will count for the sunnah. You will get the sunnah if you put anything in your mouth. What I do, personally, is I usually eat big after Tarawih because I don't eat before it. And then after that, I'm full. And Ramadan, your appetite is going to be curved like crazy. You're going to see after 5 days, you're going to be fasting like nothing. You're not going to be hungry. You never feel hunger. So I wake up at Fajr or before Fajr by 20 minutes, and I'll just have water and dates, and I'll move on with my day. But we have to be aware of the timing. And the second recommended act, like we said, is to hasten the break of the fast, to break the fast quickly. And that's it. That's it. We ask Allah to grant beneficial knowledge and to increase us from His endless bounty and to make us have a strong relationship with Him through the fast, inshallah.